Hi, and welcome to the Sterling Net Point Power Ranking Show. My name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. My co-host is Benjamin Dickerson. All righty. And what we do here is we present the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. The Net Point Power Rankings is our way of ranking the NFL teams by their win margin as opposed to win-loss or yardage or any other of the more opinionated determinations for rankings. So we know that our rankings are based on pure numbers and we go from there. So let's take a quick look at the numbers that we hold near and dear. So we're starting with average net points on your left-hand side. That's for the season. This is through week, 15 inclusive. And then on your right-hand side, ANP L3, that's your last 3 weeks average net points. So when we look on the right, we always give love to number one, and that would be the Seattle Seahawks at plus 11.6, followed closely, like 0.2 points closely by the LA Rams. Take a little drop there. We get New England, Houston, Indianapolis, rounding out your top five at 7.6, 6.8, and 6.4 average net points. That's plus. Buffalo comes in at plus 6.2 and Jacksonville at plus 6. Detroit, 5.9. Denver, 5.8. And rounding out your top 10, Green Bay, 4.8. Kansas City, the Niners, Philly as the champions, number 13 at plus 3.5 points. That's their average win margin for the season. So that's basically a field goal and half a point. Your Chargers at 2.2, Chicago at plus 1.9, and Baltimore at plus 1.1. But over the last 3 weeks, Jacksonville came in first place in net points at plus 2.3, 22.3. Then here's your Seattle at 18.7. My Niners, look at that move from 12th up to 3rd for the last 3 weeks at plus 14. Houston, 11.3. Your Rams, and again, we're in the top half, so you won't see the negatives so much here. Rams at 10.7, Chicago at plus 10. I'm telling you, this is the team that I got my eye on right now, Chicago. One of the reasons I have my eye on Chicago, and I'm looking, especially we'll talk about their offense in a minute, is Chris Canty on one of the shows mentioned he was talking about the Chiefs, and he was saying that the Chiefs seem to have lost some creativity since they lost their offensive coordinator.
Eric Bieniemy?
Yeah, for
That
the
was
Chiefs.
years ago.
Yeah, I realized that. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, as a matter of fact.
And he said they lost what?
Creativity.
No,
Well, this
no.
is Chris
Andy's
Canty. So he says
okay. Well,
he
all
felt there
right.
was a reduction in creativity. Now, of course, you still got Mahomes and they're still winning and all that, but creativity, they used to do some really wild stuff while he was there.
Okay.
And now he is the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
So that run game looks to have really taken a step up. Recently, I took a look at some of their stats, not including or including what they did to the Philadelphia Eagles, putting up like 280 something yards rushing. So I'm just keeping my eye on Chicago. That's all I'm saying. The enemy's a running back coach. I'm just intrigued by what they're able to do. Let's look at Buffalo at 9.3 plus the Chargers plus 7.7. New England 6.7, Philly 6.3. That's over the last 3 weeks. And again, that's an improvement because of the large win margin that they had against the Raiders. Long story short. And we had Denver, Miami, Minnesota, Green Bay, New Orleans, and Baltimore in the last 3 weeks coming in at plus 0.3. So this is your top half for the season and for the last 3 weeks. Any comments?
Just the fact that over the last 3 weeks, uh, this is that time of year when you really start to look at who's getting hot. Okay. Some teams got off to pretty good starts. Some teams got off to pretty slow starts. But the teams that are stringing together 2, 3, and 4 game win streaks at this time of the season are the teams that are really scary and the teams that are ready to make the move right at the right time when it's time to clinch playoff spots and get into the postseason. So Jacksonville looked extremely scary last week. Seattle didn't look scary, but they've been consistent. San Francisco's making a move. I think they got a 3 game win streak going. Houston,
We have something what I would call almost a gauntlet. We got except for the Colts, we got some tough teams coming up.
yeah, well, there's only 3 games left.
Right.
So those 3 games may be tough games, but like I said, seem to be getting hot at the right time. Houston, I believe, is on a 6 game win streak. The Rams, super consistent. Chicago, steadily climbing. Buffalo, you might as well just erase Buffalo and just put Josh Allen's name there. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, this is the time of season when, if you're going to put it together and you're going to make a run, this is the time to make the run.
This is the time to do it. Let's start looking at the bottom half. I know you don't cotton to the bottom half too much, brother, but they're there. Let's look at number 17. It's the last positive number with Pittsburgh at 0.7. From there on, it's all negative numbers. Dallas, Minnesota. And Dallas is always an interesting situation with their net points. You'll see that because they have the biggest differential between their rankings on offense and defense coming out negative. Minnesota, negative 1.3. They're making some moves. Tampa Bay, I'm not sure what's going on with them guys. Miami, Carolina. I'm not going to go down all of these. You see them. You know that these teams are teams that are, if not eliminated, just about there. And, they're trying to get their act together. Over on the last 3 weeks side, Detroit came in at breaking even at 0, ranking 17. Pittsburgh, minus 0.3. Tampa Bay, minus 0.7. After that, you got Carolina, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Dallas, Indianapolis, again, minus 7.7 over the last 3 weeks is their net points. Washington, Atlanta, your Giants at minus 11, tied with Tennessee, not a good tie. Cleveland, the Jets, Arizona, and Vegas coming in at minus 18.3. So that's a pretty big net point loss over the last 3 weeks. And again, the Vegas number has a skew from the Eagles, 31-0 loss. Anything on this group?
Just looking at the last 3 weeks, the only thing I would say about this group is even though they're ranked in the bottom half of the rankings, I'm about to say most of them, some of them, specifically Detroit, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Carolina. Yeah, right. And possibly Indy are sitting in a particular position where they've played better over the last 3 weeks, just like the top half I was talking about, getting hot at the right time. Right. And they may be in certain situations because of the division that they play in and or the teams that they have coming up at the end of their schedule still have a possibility to make a major move.
Okay. All right. There you go. Well, that's your net points. And this is a Sterling net point ranking. So that's how we rank teams. Let's take a look at what goes into the net points, however. First thing is points for. That's your scoring. And then your points for the last 3 weeks. So in first place for the season, the Detroit Lions at at 30.6 points per game. For the last 3 weeks, however, it's the Rams at 38 points per game. On the left-hand side for the season, top 5, Detroit, Rams, Buffalo, Dallas, and Seattle. We talked about Dallas being a top offense, they're scoring 29.1 points per game. Rounding out the top 10 for the season, Indianapolis at plus 28, at 28 points per game. Forget the plus. New England, 27.3. Jacksonville, Chicago, and Green Bay. Green Bay's coming in at 24.9, then followed by my Niners at 24.6, and the Denver Broncos 24.4, Pittsburgh at 24. So that 24 group is a real special group right there. Baltimore coming in at 23.9, Kansas City 23.4, and Tampa Bay tied with Kansas City. On your right, for the last 3 weeks, the Rams, Jacksonville, Detroit, Buffalo, New England, Dallas. The Dallas is actually went up a little bit for over the last 3 weeks. Oh, no, let me see. 29.1, they went down 0.1 points. Green Bay and Denver tied 28.3. San Fran at ninth place over the last 3 weeks, 27.7. Then you have Seattle, Houston, Chicago, Miami, your Chargers, Tampa Bay, and in 16th place over the last 3 weeks, Cincinnati at 22 points per game is what they're scoring. What do you got on this group, Benny?
Well, these are the offenses that put up the numbers. And over the last 3 weeks, the Rams, Jacksonville rather, have been putting up really good numbers. Detroit's known for having a machine-like offense, so it's not surprising to see them up there. New England making a nice run. Dallas, we expect to be there, but they've got other issues, which we will get to shortly. And I almost want to put Green Bay in that same spot with Dallas, to tell you the truth, but not every week. You know what I mean? Their defense is up and down. It's kind of hard to tell. Denver is tricky. Denver is showing right now, again, talking about teams getting hot at the right time, their offense is starting to take off. They've been known for their defense over the course of the season. But right now, their offense with my man Bo Breeze, aka Bo Nix, or I should say it the other way around, is starting to pick up the pace. Niners also. After the bye week, Brock Purdy came back looking good. So again, these guys are putting up numbers.
Putting up numbers, that's the top half. Let's look at the bottom half real quick. All right. And point scoring on the season side, we got Houston in the 17th place, averaging 23.1 points per game. Philly has moved up a bit with that last outburst of offense. They're now at 22.9 points per game. Followed by the Chargers, Cincinnati, Arizona, the Giants, and Miami, all down to about 21 points per game. Washington, Minnesota, Atlanta in the 20-point range. Jets, 19, Carolina, 18.9, New Orleans, Cleveland, and Tennessee all tied at 16.1. And Vegas bringing up the rear at at 14 points per game. I keep going plus because I'm so used to net points. What can I tell you? On the right-hand side for the last three, Philly, Minnesota, your Giants at 21 points per game. Pittsburgh and Atlanta tied at 20.7, New Orleans 20.3. New Orleans is such a crazy team. 1 minute they look really, really bad, and then people now want to know just what they can really get out of Tyler Shook, I think his name is. Baltimore plus at 20, Tennessee, Jets, Carolina around 19, Washington, Arizona around 18, 17 is Indianapolis. Now you see, over the last 3 weeks, Indianapolis only scoring 17 points per game. For the season, Indianapolis was what?
They were top 10.
They were 28 points per game. So now over the last 3 weeks, they're 17 points per game.
They miss Daniel Jones, don't they?
Well, looks that way. Kansas City, Cleveland, and Las Vegas. Okay, so that's your scoring. Any comments on that?
Nah, the only real contenders here look like I'm just looking at the last 3 weeks. Look like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, possibly Carolina. The only thing that'll save them from being such, I shouldn't say such low scorers, because they are up around or over 20 points per game. What's your magic number?
28 points.
28 points per game.
Yes,
So
sir.
they're a touchdown below that, below the magic number. So the only thing that can really keep them afloat is their defenses, which we are about to talk about.
Which we are about to talk about. All right, let's jump over to the defense. APA average points against. Number one, the Houston Texans. Man, that defense is fast, boy. Them guys get after you. You gotta love them. For the last 3 weeks, however, Seattle plus, allowing only 8.3 points per game.
Ooh, that's stifling.
That's stifling right there. Back for the season, Houston, Seattle, your Rams, Denver, and Kansas City coming in at fifth. That's between 16 and 19 points per game. Philly allowing 19.4 points per game for the season here. Just above New England, and here comes your 20-point group. Green Bay, the Chargers, Jacksonville, my Niners, allowing 20 approximately points per game. Uh, Indianapolis, Minnesota at 21, and Carolina, Baltimore, and Miami in that 22-point range, except for Miami is 23 points. Over the last 3 weeks, again, Seattle, the Niners allowing 13.7 points per game. Jacksonville, only 14 points per game. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie from fourth through seventh. So that would be Houston, Philly, the Chargers, and Chicago. And again, I'm keeping my eye on Chicago because if they're in the top half over the last 3 weeks in defense, that's going to mean something. Minnesota, 17.3 coming in eighth. Miami, 18.3. New Orleans, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City, Carolina, Denver, and New England rounds out your defense top half for the last 3 weeks. New England giving up 23.3 points per game after that rough outing they had with the Buffalo Bills. What do you got on this?
Over the last 3 weeks, not surprised at all at Seattle. I'm a little bit surprised at San Francisco because I would say if they were going to have a weakness, defense would be it. But again, it seems after the bye, well, they were just on the bye the week before, right? 2 weeks ago.
Who's that?
Anyway, the Niners, week 14, right?
Okay.
So they look rejuvenated. I'm happy to see it because I like the Niners. I think they're going to do well in the West, and the Western NFC West is still kind of up in the air there. Well, actually, it's not. The Rams pretty much. No, I don't think the Rams have clinched the division yet. They did clinch
Oh,
a playoff spot, though. They're one of only two teams to clinch a playoff spot. So, anyway, the NFC West is always competitive, and it is again. Like I said before, Jacksonville looking really scary. Houston points against has always been their strength. That's why they're number one over the course of the season. They slowed down just a little bit over the last 3 weeks, but still playing really well. Philadelphia's still playing really well. Chargers are playing better. Chicago's been playing really well over the course of the season and over the last 3 weeks. So the only other contenders here that look like they need to kick it up a notch defensively would be, and when I say contenders, I mean contenders for playoff spots would be Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Carolina. They're going to have to do a little bit better.
bottom half of the defense. We've got on the left-hand side, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Cleveland in that 23-point range. 24-point range, Chicago, Atlanta, and Detroit. 25-point range, Tampa Bay, Vegas, and then we have Washington. Then you got Arizona, Tennessee, the Giants, Jets, Dallas, and bringing up the rear, 32nd for the season, the Cincinnati Bengals. However, for the last 3 weeks, those Bengals have moved up to the 20th place. From 17 down, you got Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati. Right below Cincinnati is Green Bay for the last 3 weeks. That's interesting. Washington. Then you have your Rams at 27.3 points per game that they're giving up. Vegas, 28.7, Cleveland, Tennessee, Atlanta, the Giants at 32 points. Detroit, Arizona, Jets, and Dallas are tied for the last 3 weeks, giving up 35.3 points per game. Sheesh. Holy mackerel. Well, that's what you got for the bottom half of defense, Benny. What you got?
I
Shaking
mean,
your head.
it's pretty clear that if you're giving up 23 plus points per game, I don't care how good your offense is, you're going to be hard pressed to win games. And you can look down the list and see teams that have won, but you also see teams that have struggled, and you see teams that, regardless of the fact that I'm speaking about Dallas right now specifically, regardless of the fact that your offense is a juggernaut, if you're going to give up that many points per game, you're going to find it extremely difficult to win games.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. You
All
can't
right.
average giving up 35 points a game. That's insane.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, Benny, just to let you know, I went back and looked at the Eagles game just because I was trying to figure out what happened. I thought maybe Kenny Pickett would play a little bit better, considering that, he came from the Eagles, et cetera, et cetera. But they were only, I believe, somewhere down in the 25 to 35% range on third down. They could not
Mm.
they could not sustain a drive. They just, every time third down came up, Kenny Pickett was going down. So,
Yeah, well, they're probably one of the only teams that would happen to because, the Eagles are leading the league in three and outs.
well, that's offensively, yes.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Oh, right. We're talking about, okay, I got you.
yeah, we're talking about defense here. So, but anyway, that's your defense, all point average points against. Let's look at the last stat that we really consider, and this is a very important stat. That would be turnover differential. Takeaways minus giveaways. That could be fumbles, it could be interceptions. However it happens, it happens. In first place, the Chicago Bears. I actually heard one commentator say the Chicago Bears were turnover dependent. Turnover dependent.
Uh, it- there's some validity to that statement.
There is, because their defense wasn't doing that great, but
That's
when
right.
you're turning the ball over, it kind of makes up for it a little bit.
That's right.
Second place for the season, the Houston Texans. Third at +1. You got Pittsburgh and Jacksonville at +0.7, and rounding out the top five with a three-way tie at 0.6, you got Detroit, Tampa Bay, and the Rams for the season. Philly's coming in at eighth at 0.3. Then you have Green Bay 0.2, a three-way tie, but 10th, 11th, and 12th at 0.1 between Indianapolis, Atlanta, and the Chargers, New England, and Buffalo. So interesting that how close those two are both breaking even at 0, and then Arizona and Carolina at 0 point negative 0.1. And again, these averages, turnover differential and net points will go positive and negative. On your right-hand side over the last 3 weeks, look at that. Jacksonville and Seattle +2. Whoa. Chicago, Houston, and Detroit +1.3. The Chargers, Carolina, and Miami +1. Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and Cincinnati at 0.7. That's a plus. And Denver at 0.3. You have a three-way tie for 14th through 16th with your Patriots, your Saints, and the Tennessee Titans. Turnovers. What do you got on the top half?
Again, I'm just looking at the last 3 weeks. Jacksonville has always been at the top since the beginning of the season, especially in interceptions. Seattle's been cruising along with interceptions and fumble recoveries. Chicago, the same way. Um, Turnovers really do bring more relevancy to defenses like Chicago and Detroit, who you might actually look at as kind of average to a little above average as far as defense as a whole. But the fact that they take the ball away more than their offense gives it away makes them a lot better because it puts the ball back into their offense's hands and the
Yeah,
offense takes care of it. And that turns into wins, turns into points, turns into wins.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, the bottom half of your turnover differential group, full weight tied, 17th through 21st, 20th rather. Seattle, Miami, Kansas City, Denver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-way tie. Vegas, Tennessee, Cleveland, and Baltimore is minus 0.3. 3-way tie. Niners, Cincinnati, and the Giants 0.4 minus. Dallas at minus 0.5. Washington minus 0.9. Tied with Minnesota. And the Jets bringing up the rear at minus 1.2. Over the last 3 weeks, my Niners and your Giants have broken even at 0, Benny. Green Bay, Vegas, and Minnesota tied at negative 0.3. Philly and Indianapolis tied at negative 0.7. Philly needs to get out of that negative range there for turnovers. Rams, Atlanta, Kansas City, and Dallas at minus 1. Baltimore, Washington, Jets at minus 3. And then bringing up the bottom, Arizona minus 1.7 and Cleveland minus 2. So yeah, our boy Shador had a pretty rough outing in that last game. So what do you got on that?
Uh, I mean, this is the bottom. Any one of these teams could turn it around with a game or two where they have, maybe a 2 or 3 interception game or, they force some fumbles. So that's kind of fluid. But the teams at the top half, I look at a lot more because they do it consistently. And again, to be high in average turnover differential, you not only have to take the ball away, you also have to protect the ball offensively. So that's a full team stat. It may, we think about the takeaways mostly, but the giveaways will put you low on that list too.
I'm telling you. All right then. Well, Benny, that wraps up the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. If you're watching, please click the notification bell and the subscriber button. We are the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings at www.sterlingnppr.com. Any questions, please leave us a message. You can find us on social media, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, that's it for me, Benny. Peace.